Hello, all. Welcome to Script Insight's first ever interview. And I'm honored to have the writer director of two wonderful Assamese films, Kothanodi and Aamis, Mr. Bhaskar Hazarika. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this.
Thank you, Akshay, for inviting me. It's
Yeah,
a pleasure being here.
thank you. So I have seen Aamis. I think it's a wonderful film. It's a very unconventional love story. It's unlike anything I've seen in cinema. So I want to discuss a little bit about how you wrote film. There are some questions that I must ask and that will give away spoilers for the film. So for any viewers who have not seen Aamis, please do go and watch it. It is playing on the Movie Saints website. It's a wonderful website where they stream a lot of independent great films. A link
Yeah,
to
I
that.
think if I can just interject, I would like to
Yeah,
say that Movie Saints is doing really pioneering work. They are the
yeah.
only platform that I know of in India that is actively promoting, independent cinema in India. So if you are a cinema aficionado, you should definitely check out their library. They have some amazing films from amazing filmmakers, not just Aamis.
Definitely. So I will put up a link to the film in the description below. So you can check out Aamis and you can check out Movie Saints in that link. Now, I feel the beauty of Aamis for me is how its theme can have different interpretations because I see it as a film that's about the obsessive and sometimes destructive nature of desire. How would you describe
Right.
the theme of Aamis?
The thing is, I find it very difficult to. That's not the way I approach a script. That I want to write a film about this or that theme.
Yeah.
For me, it's about the plot and the story, and the themes emerge as the story is developed. So first comes story, then reflexively think about what kind of themes are emerging in the story. And you're right. One of the themes that emerged is, of course, obsession, the obsessive quality that love sometimes brings along with it. A
Yeah.
lot of the lot of meditation, you could call it, was done while writing the script on issues of sin, the nature of sin, punishment,
Hmm.
and what constitutes taboo and who decides it. Things like that.
Right. I also feel that Amis was able to have some dramatic power as well because there are certain restraints in the story as well. Because, for example, in the story about two people who develop a bond and who don't get physically intimate, there is still a lot of romantic and sexual tension. How are you able to achieve that in the writing?
Well, that's because it's always better to suggest than to show.
Hmm.
That's one rule that I try to follow. Because if you suggest a particular a scene instead of showing it,
Hmm.
there is no, whatever you show will not match the scene that has been conjured up by the audience's imagination. There is
Hmm.
no scene which is more powerful than a person's imagination. So you should just guide them to visualize that instead of showing it to them and doing the hard work for them. So
Right,
that's
right.
what makes for engaging. When you engage with art, that's what you tend to do. You try to guide the audience to visualize something, not show them and just end the matter there.
Right,
I don't
right,
know if
right.
I'm making sense, but
That makes complete sense. Yeah, I guess when you withhold information, you want the audience to sort of read into
yeah,
it
yeah,
more. So, and I think
yeah. That's
that's
how you engage
exactly,
with art.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
the thing is that you either engage with art or it would like the mainstream ways to just make people consume art. But art
right,
is not a product that can be consumed. It has to be engaged with. And these are the things you can do to so that audiences, in my case cinema, but in every art
yeah,
field, even if it's poetry or paintings or whatever,
yeah,
the idea is to engage in the viewer or the audience's minds rather than
yeah,
just make them consume your art.
yeah, definitely. In this film, it's definitely there's a lot of that. There's a small subplot which is sort of similar to the main plot, where the leads. There's Nirmali and Sumon, the two main characters, and in the subplot, the female lead Nirmali's friend Jumi has a sexual relationship outside marriage,
Right, right,
and Jumi is even encouraging Nirmali to pursue Sumon, even though Nirmali is married
right.
herself. Jumi is very like, she's very open about it. She's not, being, afraid to sort of even tell her friend, go for it. I feel Jumi shows how a person completely submits to his or her desires, while Nirmali and Suman are very cautious about their bond crossing a limit. So, do you feel having the character of Jumi gives more nuance to the themes of the film? Do you feel it shows that having forbidden desires is something that everyone is capable of? It's everywhere.
So yeah, so basically, the idea of having this person sort of have a what could have been like if
Yeah,
Nirmali had given in to her desire and whatever is what
yeah,
Jumi is doing, a friend.
right,
So
right.
I know the whole point was to do a love story about two people who don't get sexually intimate in the
Mm-hmm.
traditional sense, where you touch body, touch each other's body,
Yes.
right? So if it is an experiment, and every experiment, needs a control to test the experiment's effectiveness. So this is the control, like what
Uh,
what if she had, so this, because after a while in the film, you realize that maybe it's better off to be what Jumi is doing, having a healthily expressing her
yeah.
sexuality,
Yes.
right? But in the end, she also develops a major complication in life because of this.
Yes. Yes.
So it comes from a very nihilist point of view sort of propose that no matter what choice you make in life, life finds a way to, if I may use the word, fuck you.
Right, right,
So
right.
so that's the kind of thing, like how
Uh,
like Jim Morrison used to say, no one here gets out alive, right? So
yeah.
no, so it's a very bleak and cold view of humanity, but that's how it is. The human experience is such that it's just
Mm.
made to suffer. So
So there is a sequence where Sumon dreams about Nirmali during the time when he is feeding her his flesh. There's a strong like visual imagery involving Nirmali and the stomach, and it feels although as though Nirmali has consummated her relationship with Sumon by having his flesh. How do you like conceive and write this kind of dreamy imagery to convey what is happening? Even the shots of the the meat dishes floating around, all that, the cooking
right,
montages,
right, right,
everything.
right.
So all this,
Right.
it's a very sort of dream-like montage. How do
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
conceive that?
Well, frankly speaking, when I wrote the scene initially in the draft, it was a very simple scene. It was not supposed to be like this at all. But
Ah,
so that's what happens in a film. When you have good crew working for you, it sort of elevates your concepts, what your ideas. So this dream sequence, the way it turned out, was mostly Riju's idea, the cinematographer, who wanted to do something dreamlike, and
okay,
thought of using this kind of a thing. And also, of course, in the edit, Shweta, who edited the film,
right,
she incorporated all these other elements into it. So it was like a team effort. But
yeah.
when I wrote this scene, I had not visualized it like this. But I'm very happy the way it turned out.
The cooking montage almost make you feel hungry, like you,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's Shweta.
yeah. So it's very well done. In IMDb, you're credited with the direction, story, screenplay, and dialogue. And you have two other writers, Sunaina Datta and Sagar Saurabh, who worked on the dialogue.
That's correct.
Yeah. So, what are the advantages of writing with other people compared to maybe writing solo?
Well, actually, it was because I'm although I am Assamese, I've not been in Assam all my life, so I needed some language input. Dialogues. I
Okay.
wrote the dialogues in English, so they had to
Okay.
be written in Assamese. So Sunaina and Sagar, they both helped me. Sunaina also functioned as an AD in
Yeah.
the film, and Sagar is the guy who played Ilyas, his friend.
Right. Right. Right.
So yeah, so he's the guy who does the dialogue. So there are advantages, of course, if you're working, in a team, things tend to get faster.
Yeah.
But writing is primarily a solo person's job. So
Hmm.
and you can do it. Like I've
Yeah.
worked with teams of writers for web series and all. But
Yeah.
I believe firmly that your projects that are close to your heart should be by yourself. So yeah,
And in your films, I've noticed that you've worked with, like in Kothanodi, you worked with very experienced, seasoned actors like uh, Adil Hussain and Seema Biswas. And
Tarifa Kopil,
yeah,
Tarifa Kopil also like veteran of Western cinema.
yeah. So you worked with them, and in Aamis, these are two actors who are doing their first film together. They're completely new to film acting.
Yeah. For a change, I had more experience than my actors. And
Yeah,
I was
yeah. So when you're working with, let's say, actors of who are new, like fresh and new, and actors who are very experienced, like, do you find any differences in how they approach a screenplay? Do you feel like experienced actors really, pinpoint and try to figure out the subtext, and the processes are different because such a collaborative effort as well, like between the actor and director and the script.
well, of course, people like Sima Baidu and Adila, they're like like big actors. They work with so many big directors and really like influential filmmakers. They have interacted with them.
Yeah.
So obviously, they step on your set and you are a debut filmmaker. It's the first film, so there's so
Yeah.
much that they have. I've learned from them working with them.
Yeah.
And most importantly, I learned a lot. I learned to value the art of acting because as a filmmaker, writer, you tend to treat you don't give much importance to actors because you know that the character is made. Somebody just has to say the lines, right? But that's not what it is, because
Yeah.
both of them in their own ways have just completely shown the light on me on what an intense art acting is. And so for Aamis, we had a workshop which was led by Sima Biswas uh,
Okay. Okay.
for the actors, because they had never faced a camera before.
Right.
But what was good about them was that they were comfortable on stage. Orgo, who played Sumon, he is the lead singer of a band, so he does
Yeah.
gigs all the time on stage. And Lima, of course, is a very accomplished dancer.
Yeah.
So both of them were quite, like they were not like how I would have. I am like completely nervous in front of people. So they didn't have that. So that and of course they were both just tailor made for the roles. I thought that is why we cast them. And
Yeah.
it was just such a huge bonus that they were so good in the first film.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, it worked out really well. I mean, they both were very well cast, and you could actually completely believe the relationship, which was ultimately what you needed, I guess. Also, because these the films you made, they're set in Assam. Like Kotanodi is about these Assamese folk tales, and
Right.
Aamis is about this student who studies meat eating communities, and there's a lot of exploration of the cuisine there. So do you feel like the best stories come out from very, very local experiences?
Well, yeah, definitely. The thing is that stories tend to be universal. Like a story which is effective in Assam will also be effective in Mexico, because essentially stories are about human beings and the human lived experience is similar around the world. But what
Yeah.
makes a story unique is how rooted it is to the region that it is from. So a love story from Mexico or a love story from Ghana or a love story from Assam, they have to be rooted in the cultural milieu
Yeah.
where the story is set.
Right.
So
Right. Right.
so that has to be like definitely there. That any story you write, you need to
Yeah.
ground it somewhere in some context. Unless so even if you're doing a Marvel superhero script,
Ah.
you do have to have some cultural grounding. So that's why it's not just about me. Anybody who writes films in languages other than Hindi or for non-Bollywood like cinema,
Yeah.
they tend to ground their films very in very make it very rooted to the culture
Yeah.
that they do.
Is there any recent writing in film or TV that really impressed you, and why?
Uh, Geez, I have to think about this. I don't know. Not really, actually. But it's not like I watch a lot. I don't.
Yeah.
I barely, I mean, all these interesting, films and web series that have come up in the last 6 7 months. I've not even watched a couple of them
Yeah.
because that's the paradox of functioning in any film industry. Like industry. Well, I wouldn't call it an industry, but
Yeah.
where you're so busy doing films that you don't have time to watch films.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
it's not it's true for most people who work in
Yeah.
films.
And do you have any screenwriting advice for anyone who wants to write a script, for any aspiring writers out there?
Oh yeah, I have loads, man. Where do I begin?
What's something that has really helped you like throughout your
Well, I would
career?
just say that I would just say that from like writing my own experience, nobody taught me these things. So is that that you should not start writing scene number one unless you
Hmm.
have a clear idea in your head what scene number last is going to look like. Whichever
Hmm.
scene is the last scene of your film, you should clearly know that that this is how the film will end. So now
Right,
just a matter of getting to that point. So it
right,
gives some
right.
focus and direction to a script. Okay, the ending might change.
Yeah,
That's quite plausible. It's possible,
yeah.
but at least before you start writing, you should have an ending in mind.
Right, right,
That
right.
so that will really help.
Okay. So is that how you like when you conceived Aamis, you had that last shot of them holding
Definitely,
hands
definitely,
together? Okay. It was
definitely.
always there
Yeah, yeah.
from the
You can
get-go.
ideate and develop the story, as and when. But when you sit down to write scene number one, you
Yeah.
should know that my last scene is going to be this. Now I have to get to that point.
Mm.
So yeah.
Now, like both Aamis and Kothanadi, they explore quite offbeat and often dark subject matter. Would you like to continue exploring such territory in future work, or do you feel like taking a different creative direction? Or is it something
Not
that,
really. See, the thing is, I'm a professional scriptwriter, filmmaker, so I do all
yeah,
kinds of films. It just so happened that the first film that did happened to be like kind of dark.
yeah,
I just 2 years back I wrote this comedy with Surena Datta and another of my associates called Emuti Puti. It's a road film. It's a comedy.
okay.
So that film is expected to release this year.
What is it
Um,
called again? Sorry.
it's called Emuti Puti, which
Emotiputi.
basically means it's an Assamese phrase, which means a fistful of a small fish. This small fish you get in the rivers.
Oh, a fistful of small fish. Okay.
Fish, yeah, yeah. So so that's a comedy that I've written along with
Okay.
Sunana, and
Okay.
that should be out later this year.
Okay. Nice. Nice. You want to explore your creativity and also you want to maybe try out different kinds of subjects and different tones, I guess.
Yeah, I mean it's just a job,
Yeah.
I think of it like a job. It's not this. I'm lucky to have this job. I enjoy it. So whatever comes, somebody like I just wrote an action film. Then
Okay.
I'm trying to write a sports film. So all kinds of stuff, whatever comes my way, I do it if I like it and the
Nice.
money's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Lovely. In the case of Amis, the when the film starts out, you feel like it's going to be this sort of tender, sweet sort of love story about these two people, and it goes in a sort of a direction that you see it go. Okay, they're getting closer to each other. They're bonding over an activity, and then eating of the flesh and all of that happens, and that's when I think the tone shifts, and you tend to see them in a different light, and you tend to see the story heading in a different direction. So did it ever concern you that maybe that change in direction of the love story would it maybe bother people, or would it evoke a certain reaction?
Um, that's precisely the point, because the idea
Yeah,
was to lead people up a garden path,
yeah,
like because like you said, people have seen the first half before in so many films,
yeah, yeah,
and you are like completely
yes,
unarmed, defenseless.
yeah,
When I suddenly push you down the abyss. So,
yeah.
so that was so it's an interesting experiment. It
Hmm.
doesn't really work in terms of financials because cross genre films are very difficult to program in film festivals. So
Hmm.
that's the lesson I learned from Aamis.
Yeah.
But as far as a writer and a filmmaker, I'm super satisfied with the way people completely got suckered into it.
Right, right,
So,
right.
like we've had walkouts also. People were expecting a sweet love story.
Oh,
They'd come and tell me, like, what the hell? Yeah, why did you have to do that? It was going so, but that was the point. And the point was to just sort of, because, as an audience is watching a story, the
right,
story is
right.
also watching the audience. And the story
uh
also wants to play with the audience. So,
Also, people have walked out like during screenings.
oh, yeah, I mean, not a lot of people, but yeah, I've had two,
Okay,
three walkouts.
there's a
But that happens
few.
with every film. In Kothanodi, the same thing happened. People walked out, but that's okay.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Yeah, they must have gotten a very. They must have strongly reacted to it, or yeah.
I mean, you cannot
You can't please anyone, everyone. Yeah, it's true.
not just please, not everybody has to like your work.
Correct.
And very few things
Hmm.
that around the world people like, maybe pizza, but your your
Yeah.
film is not pizza, so you will have people who will not like it.
Right. 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 Like when I saw Aamis, I realized there's so many films like this that like you said, they explore a very different genres, and they push the envelope in terms of what kind of subject matter to explore in a film, like like the filmmakers like Takashi Miike, and
Hmm.
sometimes even Tarantino. Like they've all been sort of sometimes even accused of like exploring very dark matter, very brutal matter. Do you think having these subjects, does it show that human beings are capable of going really far, like even the most normal people, like human beings in general? That's why this kind of cinema exists.
It exists because the thing is, okay, so there's this, it's a big issue, a big topic. Actually, we can have a separate conversation on this entire thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Is the this this continuously inflating ego that human beings have about themselves and their place in the universe. Where because they're lords and masters of the earth. Obviously, human beings among all other animals and plants who live on earth, we have the most inflated ego, a sense of ourselves as being the center of the universe. So it is
Mm,
important to deflate that ego, once in a while. And art
mm,
can play a good role in that because you make people realize that we are no different from any other animal or plant who lives in the universe. I'm not just
right,
talking
right.
about the earth. I'm talking about the universe. This sort of impulse in mainstream art to always glorify human beings, their
Yeah,
stories, their emotions,
right,
uh,
right, right.
make like obviously because we are human beings, all our films are about human beings, and human beings are the heroes, but they're also the villains, But
Mm,
heroic, lot of heroic qualities added, is sort of humanity is infused with these heroic qualities, their saviors and this and that. But we
yeah.
can be really, and if you look at the cumulative history of human existence on Earth, we have done much harm to the Earth than we have given it, sort of benefits just by our
Mm,
existence. So when you plunge into the depths of the human heart and the kind of things that human beings are capable of doing,
right.
it is a reminder, that we should not think too much of ourselves. So I like that kind of uh, like the reminder that people should get once in a while, and art can do this. So that is why I have no issues with people being really dark films.
Right, right.
It's obviously it's not all dark all the time, but you need,
Yeah.
like I said, you need reminders. And this kind of art does that role.
Now, in terms of writing Aamis, how long did it take to flesh out the entire story from the the inception of the idea till the final draft, the shooting draft?
Well, it goes back a really long way. I remember shooting for my first film, in Marketing, when I first had this little germ of an idea.
Yeah.
And that is like, well, since then till it got made, there's a 6 or 7 year gap.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah,
Hmm.
because the idea got developed, then I got my producer Sham interested in the story.
Yeah.
Then when we had a story to pitch, my other producer Poonam got on board. She liked the story. That gave us the impetus to write the script. So this
Yeah.
entire process took, from germ, you say the inception of the idea in my head, about 6 years.
Like because you're spending so many years on one idea, you had to make sure that it was something you
No, 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 no.
had to
I
be.
was not. No, no, no. This was not the only thing I was working on, obviously,
Okay.
because there
Okay.
are multiple things. 6 years you cannot spend on one
Yeah.
idea.
No, no,
That's
no. I mean, like if you're, I'm sure there are other projects, but I'm saying you have to be
yeah,
sure
yeah,
that
yeah.
you have to be sure that you're really passionate about this idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of the many stories I was developing. Even now,
Yeah.
I'm developing 4, 5 stories. Who knows what might work, what might not. So it was like
Right.
that.
All that effort paid off. I think it's a wonderful film, and yeah, everyone should watch it.
Not on pirated sites, only on movie. Please,
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah. Definitely watch.
we need some support.
Yes, for those who haven't watched it, please do watch it on Movie Saints. And
And it's pay per view. It's not like you have to become a subscriber or something.
right, right, right.
You just pay $100 and you watch Aamis. And like I said before, movie scenes has tons of other great independent films. So go
Yeah.
there for Aamis, stay for everything else.
Yes. On that note, thank you so much, Mr. Hazarika, for doing
Great.
this. It's been a pleasure, and
Great.
we look forward to what you do next.
Yeah, great, great. Nice talking to you, Akshay, and good luck to your channel. I
Thank
hope
you
lots
so
of
much.
people watch it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. If you haven't seen Aamis, please do check out this wonderful film on the Movie Saints website. The link to the website is in the description below. Do check it out. Let me know your thoughts about this video in the comments below. If you like this video, please smash that like button, give it a thumbs up. Script Insight is thankful to the Script Room for their assistance in the promotion of this video. If you love cinema, please subscribe to this channel for more such content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.